If you walk into a Starbucks today and order a plain coffee, you're basically that person who shows up to a birthday party with a bag of ice. Technically helpful, but missing the point. Because here's the truth. Starbucks does not want you to order coffee. Not anymore. Coffee is the bait. The real game. Everything else. Back in 1971, Starbucks opened its first store in Seattle's Pike Place market. It wasn't about the coffee being fancy. In fact, the first store didn't even brew cups of coffee on site. It sold coffee beans and equipment. The idea? Make people obsessed with good coffee, not just caffeine. Fast forward to the 1980s, when Howard Schultz visited Italy. He noticed something. Italians didn't just drink espresso to wake up. They savored it, they lingered, they socialized. Coffee wasn't a commodity, it was an experience. When Schultz brought that idea back to the US, Starbucks didn't just sell coffee anymore. They sold a lifestyle, a little piece of sophistication in a paper cup. And that's where the problem for your plain black coffee begins. 1. Coffee is cheap, experience is expensive. Here's a secret most people don't realize. A plain cup of brewed coffee costs Starbucks less than $1 to make. Yet, a grande latte, around $0.90 to produce, but you pay $5.50 or more. So, if you order black coffee, you're basically the equivalent of a fast food customer at a Michelin-starred restaurant. You're there for sustenance, not the experience. And Starbucks' business model thrives on experience. They want you to linger, customize, and most importantly, spend more money. The menu itself is designed to discourage simplicity. Want a venti latte? That's normal. Want it with almond milk, 2 pumps of vanilla, and caramel drizzle. That's gourmet. That's memorable. That's profitable. 2. Starbucks sells identity, not caffeine. Think about the drinks themselves. Pumpkin Spice Latte. It's a cultural event. It's a statement. I am autumn. I am festive. I am socially relevant. When you order a complicated drink, you're signaling something about yourself. You're not just fueling your body, you're fueling your identity. And plain coffee? Well, that doesn't tell the world anything. It's functional. It's invisible. Starbucks wants you visible. They want you to broadcast your personality with whipped cream and syrup, because that's where the magic happens. 3. The psychology of choice and customization. Starbucks is a master of what psychologists call choice architecture. The menu is long, colorful, full of options, and slightly overwhelming. Why? Because when people have too many options, they feel like they must pick the best or the most unique choice. That's why so many people order frappuccinos with 17 modifications. They're not just thirsty, they're proving something to themselves. They're participating in a ritual designed to make them feel sophisticated, modern, and in the know. Plain coffee? It's boring. It doesn't satisfy the brain's need for novelty, and novelty is addictive. 4. Marketing magic. Starbucks is a marketing genius. Let's take a simple example. Seasonal drinks. Pumpkin Spice Latte, launched in 2003, now responsible for nearly 40% of Starbucks' annual social media buzz during autumn. Unicorn Frappuccino, a limited-time colorful frenzy in 2017. Millions posted it online.
Paid $5 to $6 for a drink that cost $1 to make.
The lesson? People love exclusivity, novelty, and social proof. If Starbucks offered plain coffee in a pink sparkly cup, no one would care. By making simple coffee seem mundane, they push you toward what's shareable, visible, and premium. 5. The store experience. Ever notice how Starbucks stores are designed for lingering? Soft music, comfy chairs, natural light, free Wi-Fi. Everything conspires to keep you there longer than necessary. Why? Because the longer you stay, the more likely you are to order again. Maybe a snack this time, maybe a fancy drink. Starbucks isn't selling coffee. They're selling time spent in the Starbucks universe. And black coffee? It's fast. You drink it, you leave. Not ideal. 6. The mobile app is the real goldmine. But here's the even bigger shift. Starbucks isn't even focused on in-store coffee orders anymore. The mobile app is where the magic happens. Starbucks Rewards has 34 million active members in the US, and those members spend 3x more than non-members. Every time you load money onto the app, Starbucks essentially gets an interest-free loan from you. At any given time, customers are holding over 1 billion unused Starbucks gift cards and app balances. That's money Starbucks can invest, earn interest on, or use to fund operations, all before you even drink a single drop of coffee. So if you think Starbucks is just selling drinks, think again. They're selling convenience, loyalty, and prepaid capital. 7. Historical coffee lessons. Starbucks' strategy isn't unique. It's an evolution of a centuries-old idea. In 17th century Europe, coffee houses were social clubs. People paid not just for the drink, but for who they could meet there. In the 19th century, American soda fountains and tea parlors used fancy presentations and elaborate flavors to make drinks feel luxurious. Starbucks simply modernized the formula. Digital menu boards, apps, loyalty programs, and frappuccinos with glitter. In other words, Starbucks is the logical conclusion of 400 years of coffee culture. You don't just drink coffee, you perform coffee consumption. 8. Upselling without upselling. Notice how the barista always asks, "Do you want that venti? Extra shot? Almond milk?" That's not annoying. That's science. It's called suggestive selling, and Starbucks has turned it into an art form. A simple cup of coffee is fine, but a latte with modifications is tempting. You don't even realize you're spending more, and that's exactly the point. 9. Social proof and FOMO. Starbucks thrives on social proof. People posting seasonal drinks on Instagram, bragging about customizations, participating in the shared ritual. When you order plain coffee, you're outside the narrative. You're functional, not fabulous. Starbucks wants you in the spectacle. Black coffee, invisible. Fancy drinks, performance. The bottom line, Starbucks doesn't want you to order coffee because coffee is cheap, boring, and invisible. They want you to order identity, experience, novelty, social proof, and preload money into their app. Your plain cup of black coffee? That's a failure of the system. Your Instagram-worthy, heavily modified drink? That's a triumph of behavioral science, marketing genius, and centuries of coffee culture evolution. Next time you see someone with a colorful, whipped cream drizzled drink, know this: they're not just drinking coffee. They're playing the Starbucks game. And Starbucks, they're winning. And maybe, just maybe, they'll get you to do it too. If you want more insights into the psychology, history, and marketing tricks behind the world's biggest brands, subscribe to the channel. We dig deep, laugh a little, and reveal what companies don't want you to know. Because in the end, it's not just coffee, it's culture, business, and a tiny bit of magic in a cup.